Well, good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us. March the 12th, 2023. We are live here at Love 105 FM every Sunday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We've got a great show today. Again, the show is hosted by Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, Scott Wolmering, myself, Ryan O'Neill of the Minnesota Real Estate Team, Remax Advantage Plus. Adam Hartung in studio. We're getting ready to go live on air, guys. You ready for a fun show?
I am.
Absolutely.
Sure. Hopefully everybody stays safe on the roads. They're getting pretty bad.
Yeah, roads are bad, but again, we're on Love 105 FM, 8 to 9 a.m. Here we go. Again, 612-294-6949 is how you can reach us throughout the show for questions, comments, thoughts. First segment, again, we're talking all real estate, of course, and mortgage related to. Thanks for joining us here on this Sunday morning. Again, Love 105 FM is where we're at every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. And yeah, we're just getting ready to go live on air here in just a second. Appreciate you joining us. Appreciate you listening in. It's going to be a fun show this week. Mike, a lot going on from a mortgage standpoint, too.
Yeah, some good news on rates. We're going to talk about how rates went down a little bit this week.
Good news is always a positive, Scott. Good news for interest rates is always great to hear.
Yeah, rates going down is a good thing.
And thank you, so many folks joining us already on the chat. Guys, we lost an hour of sleep. How you feeling?
Well, I didn't go to bed last night till 2:00, and then at 2:01 it went to 3:00, and then I was like, oh my god, I totally forgot. And so I'm like, great, now I get 3 hours sleep instead of 4 hours sleep.
And Adam Hartung down at the end. Adam, you've got a full 8-9 hours of sleep, right?
I'm not awake yet, so I'm still sleeping.
Mike is an early to bed guy, so Mike got a full 8 hours of sleep, didn't you there, bud?
No. I didn't get it that either, Ryan. You're probably the only one that got it. Did you get 8 hours?
No, I did not. I did not. Went to bed earlier, but and good morning to all the folks joining us again, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you might be. Thank you for joining us again. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're here until 9 o'clock. Welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. A lot to talk about with the market. Scott, I know we were talking a couple nights ago. You got multiple offers on a listing of yours. We're starting to see some activity.
Yeah, it's totally different. What's so fascinating about it is the numbers are the same as it was last year. So, for example, on this home, I had 764 saved searches. So 764 buyers in the market currently have saved that as what they're looking for. And so so I mean. It's different. So we had three offers. Last year we would have had 20. We had 7 showings. Last year we would have had 30.
Sure.
So I mean it's different, but it's still a very aggressive market.
Yeah, a lot going on. Again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us at Love 105 FM. We're excited to be on the FM dial here in 2023. And again, first part of the show, first segment, we always dive in. Real estate update, mortgage update. Again, welcome your questions, comments, thoughts throughout the show too. Don't hesitate to interrupt us.
Oh, question of the week.
Question of the week, Scott.
Yeah,
what do you got?
Question of the week. So if this is non-real estate related, if you could change one thing in your life,
okay,
to reset
turn the mic on now.
the way that your life goes, what would be that change that you'd make? So what change, if you could make one change in your past that would kind of reset where you go, what change would you make?
You're always a deep thinker.
I'm a deep
Scott.
thinker.
All right, we're getting ready to go live on air on Love 105 FM. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, so we'll just do silence, and I'm just gonna put you in from over there. I don't know what the hell is
All
going on.
right, we're getting ready to go here. Our friend JoJo's helping us. Thanks, JoJo.
All right, you're live. 5, 4, 3,
All right.
2, 1. I'm gonna go start the open. You should hear it. Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And again, we're having just a minor technical difficulty here this morning with going live on air, but we appreciate it. It should be a fun show. Should be a great show here. Again, 612-294-6949. Adam Hartung's radio debut here on Love 105 FM. And again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. We did have a couple questions already coming in. It looks like we're going to get to those here in just a second once we go live on air. But as we look at the market and as we talk about some of those numbers, we are seeing, again, new listings down pretty significantly. So almost a 35% drop year over year, if you can believe it. Almost a 35%. We'll just keep doing this, guys. Almost a 35% drop, guys, year over year. And pending sales down, Mike, almost 23%. So we saw a 23% drop in pending sales. And then the inventory of homes for sale is up 15%. So 15% more listings right now in the Twin Cities at this time. And even when we look at it historically, it's pretty amazing to see that.
Jojo says we're live now.
Oh, we are. Are we live, Jojo? All right. We've got some in our phones. We've got the music in our phones we can hear. But we are live here on Love 105 FM. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're grateful for you joining us here again at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Hopefully the music will turn off in a little bit.
No, I think we should leave it that way for the whole show.
Just
I think
leave it on.
Let's leave the music on the whole show.
What do you think, Adam?
We could do karaoke instead.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you do look tired. Adam Hartung, he got this is like, might as well have gotten up at 3 in the
He's like
morning.
delirious over
Yes.
there. Yeah.
This is not a joke. I don't think I've been up this early in at least 10 years.
Hey,
Yeah, that's crazy with
That's not
young
an exaggeration.
kids. I mean, when the kids were young, I was up every morning at 6.
Oh,
I don't have young kids anymore.
I suppose that's true. You don't. You are getting old.
I'm
Yeah.
old.
Yes, you are getting old.
Yeah, I always tease our 16-year-old daughter. When she doesn't want to get out of bed, we got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, right? And so when she's sleeping in, if we need to wake her up, I said, well, that's fine. I'll just send our live alarm clocks down to come get you. You know, and our 6-year-old and a 3-year-old, of course, they're up at early and they're just, they're rambunctious and they're crazy. Run downstairs and that's her alarm clock.
Yeah, again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us here at Love 105 FM every Sunday morning. We're here 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's daylight savings, so we've jumped an hour ahead. We're still here. We made it. We made it in, guys. Mr. Hartung down at the end, Mr.
Even I'm
Wolverine.
here.
And good morning to everybody. Thanks for joining us. If you are out and about, be safe on the roads. Before the first break, guys, we do have to dive in, talk a little bit. Mike, mortgage, you said there's good news this week. Talk about that.
Yeah, it's if you look back to February 2nd, so February 2nd to literally this last Thursday, rates did nothing but climb up. It was just a death by 1,000 cuts, just a little here, a little there. Rates just creeping up for about 5 weeks straight. We get a bad jobs report on Friday, so just 2 days ago. And that helped our mortgage market there. Rates went down 0.25% in 1 day from that jobs report. So hopefully this is the momentum we need to reverse rates, right? To get them to start creeping back down little by little versus going up. So we're sitting, you're sitting in the mid to high 6s for a 30-year fixed right now.
Okay.
Last week, a lot of the week we were at 7. So just a little bit of dip in rates and hopefully that sparks a little activity for us.
612-294-6949 is how you can join the discussion anytime till the top of the hour. You can also text us at that number if you're a little shy about going on air to answer that question. But, one question that came up actually from a client of mine.
Actually, hold that
Go
thought
ahead.
for a second. You need to put your
My pillow?
your pillow nicely on the table
This is
there.
so,
On the edge, yeah.
Yes,
There you
okay.
go.
and be closer to the mic.
I will.
I like giving him a bad time because Scott very affectionately likes to talk with his hands and kind of bang the table throughout the show.
I do. So now they've given me a security blanket.
A security blanket,
Yeah.
so Adam, no banging of the table. Anyway, you were asking. Sorry, Scott.
I don't know what I was talking. Obviously,
Someone you're
I
flying.
was saying something very, very real estate related, and then got sidetracked. My client. Yeah. So she was asking. We're going to get busy looking for homes. Probably the beginning, middle of April. When should she get approved? I'm assuming you get that question a lot.
Yeah, I do get that question a lot. I mean, I don't think there's a wrong time. Obviously, I don't think it's too early. I got people right now that I just took an application this week. They're not planning to buy until October because that's when their lease runs out. Their lease runs out at the end of September.
Yep.
And so they wanted to see where they sit now. Is there anything we need to do to get in a better position? Because now we have some time to work on things, right? If you need to work on some credit things, or if you need to save more money, or if you need to do this, it gives you time to work on that stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, and the other thing, the other reason I always have buyers get qualified right now, as soon as a buyer starts saying, "Hey, let me see the listings that are in my price range," and even though I'm not active right now, it'll just kind of give me an idea of what's out there. And this has happened so many times.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to see a home they love.
Yeah.
They're going to call and say, "Oh my gosh, we weren't going to do this until July, and now it's March, but we love this house. Can we see it?" And then, unfortunately, in this market, you go into multiple offers. So then you've got a buyer that is freaking out because they can't get an approval letter.
Sure.
And now this is the home of their dreams. There are no other homes, just this one.
Right.
And inevitably they lose out on it. So I agree. It's a very, very quick process. Like, the getting to the closing table is not quick, but actually the approval process is relatively quick.
Want to welcome on again. Lots of folks joining us on social media. Very grateful, whether it's LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you might be. Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're here every Sunday morning at Love 105 FM from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. This is a fun show. It's informative. And speaking of informative, I wanted to give a nice shout out. David Meyer and Madeline Brendan this past week did a great seminar on Airbnb properties, investment property 201, all about VRBO and Airbnb properties. Great information, had a panel of 4 Airbnb owners there. And it was really interesting just to learn with kind of this trend of everybody wanting to do Airbnbs now. How that works, what's going on in the market, how you get it financed, how you get them rented. And again, our team, the Minnesota Real Estate Team, we do these seminars open to the public, all radio listeners, free. And Scott, those are just great places for people to get good information.
Yeah, I mean, these are all great. First time home buyer seminar, first time investor seminar, 201 seminar for investors. And again, for those listening, if you've listened to the show, we're new here on the station, but we've been doing the show for about 18 years.
You're new.
Yeah, we're really new. With us, there is never any pressure at all. Literally, it's just information and answer questions if you have them. And if you work with us, that'd be awesome. If you don't, then we hope you have the best of luck finding a house.
Yeah, before this break, again, we just wanted to hit those numbers again in the Twin Cities. New listings down 35% year over year, so 35% less new homes. Pending sales down pretty significantly, 24%. Inventory up slightly, 15% to 5,735. And when we think about that, again, 5,735 homes, there's just not much of anything out there inventory wise. So many buyer needs that people have. And I was looking at the numbers, guys. If you can believe last year, there was a time that it was under 5,000 in homes.
We hit 4,700, I think, last year at one point.
So, I mean, again, with these numbers, you have to take it a little bit with a grain of salt. 15% increase. It's still so many buyer needs emails going out.
Let's look at it this way. So a balanced market in the Twin Cities. That's what everybody wants. Equal amount of buyers, equal amount of sellers. Homes are still appreciating. Buyers can go out and take their time writing an offer. They typically maybe write a little bit under list price, come to terms. So that's 18,000 homes. That's what we're all looking at. So right now we're at 5,700, something like that. 5,700 homes. We are, what is that? So we would be, I mean, this is 75% of the best sellers market that's ever been on the planet.
Right.
The only time that's ever been better than this was the first 4 months of last year.
Right.
Other than that, this is as good as it gets.
Hey, it's the first break, guys.
It is.
First break at Love 105 FM. We're excited to be here. We're grateful you're tuning in. If you're out and about in the roads, drive safely again every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We're at Love 105 FM for the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We'll be back after the break. Thanks for tuning in. Just had a comment here. So hard to find anything under 350K in Lakeville single family. What do you think, guys?
Yep.
Yeah, no, that would be it. I mean, I'm going to be putting on one for 375 and this was as of 2 weeks ago when I did the market, but we would have been the only split level.
Wow.
From only split level from 1979 to 1995 in Lakeville, currently on the market. So that's it. So if you're going to buy a house in Lakeville,
Okay.
unless you're going to go more expensive, that's the only house that'll be on the market.
Yeah, and good morning to so many folks joining. Tony, Ram, Juan, Janelle. Sometimes we can't see your name on the comments because you have to have the Restream downloaded in order to see the name of the comment. So if we don't call your name out, that's why. It's not intentional on our part. But Mike, where do you think rates are going to go this year? I mean, do we have any feeling on that?
There's lots of feelings on that. There's mixed feelings.
Right.
Adam laughs down there as I say that. You know, it depends who you ask. Some people think they're gonna go up. Some people think they're gonna go down. I mean, Barry Habib. I don't know. Have you ever heard of Barry Habib? You guys
yeah.
ever heard? Yeah,
I've heard you talk about it.
yeah. So you know, he's one of the bigger names as far as predicting what's going to happen with interest rates in the country here. He's predicting what, May 10th. There's some sort of some sort of shelter report that trails. So the information trails a couple of months on that. That's supposed to come out on May 10th, I believe it is. He's predicting that that's going to be really good for interest rates. The last time this type of report came out was November 10th of this last fall, and our market went up 125 bips in one day.
Wow.
Which means that rates dropped about 0.5% one day.
Wow.
He's predicting that same thing in May. Whether that happens or not, I mean, who knows, right? But I think rates are going to stay between 6 and 7 for majority of the year. I do think we'll brush into the high fives. You know, we'll hit a few dips. You know, where maybe a few weeks we're back in the high fives here and there. But I don't think we're going to go crazy low. But I think it's going to be manageable.
Interesting. We're going to welcome on again Adam Hartung in just a second to go live with his segment here. Adam again is with Midwest Money Management, and this interesting discussion point. This whole bank out in California that failed.
Yeah.
Did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Adam, did you hear about it?
Just on Friday, yeah.
And
I don't have a lot of details, but yeah.
Well, and it's a bank. Was looking at it that a lot of the startups out in California would use a lot of these different companies. So, yeah, maybe a discussion point for us too, Mike. I don't know if you have any direct thoughts.
I mean, someone posted on Facebook the other day is it's like banks are living deposit to deposit.
Sure.
Like, you know, like some people live paycheck to paycheck. They're living there too. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I think we'll actually probably see a couple more fail. I mean, smaller ones will probably fail that won't hit the radar, but I imagine we see that happen a little bit more before it turns around.
Yeah, again, 612-294-6949 is how you can join us here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Appreciate you joining us. You can see we've got a new studio here. We're at Love 105 FM in 2023. And we, again, welcome your questions, comments, thoughts, wherever you might be finding us on online here. We had a question come in about the different seminars, mnrealestateshow.com. If you just click on the seminar link, that will show, for example, the one that we just did on VRBOs, Airbnbs. We do an investment property 101 seminar. We do a first-time home buyer seminar. So a lot of good stuff, informational, open to all agents, to all customers as well. But Scott, as we're getting ready to come back from the break, we can talk a little bit more about preparing your home for sale. We had another question kind of coming about how do we do that in this market?
Yeah, for sure. And don't forget the question of the day.
Yeah, question of the day. What is the question of the day?
Question of the day is, if you could change one thing about your life to rewrite your history, what would it be?
Hey, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Appreciate you joining us. Hope your Sunday morning is going well. It is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. And again, 612-294-6949. Mr. Scott, you said we got a question of the day. What is it, buddy?
The question of the day is, if you could change one thing in your life, what would that be? And so if you made that change, it would kind of reroute your life, because anything that you make a change on obviously would rewrite what your current situation is. So what would it be if you could change one thing in your life? What would it be?
Yeah, and at this point in the show, each week we have one of our partners from mnrealestateshow.com, from the Minnesota Real Estate Show. These are trusted professionals that the Minnesota real estate team, our agents, have worked with over the years that we respect, that we trust. Today, we have Adam Hartung with Midwest Money Management in studio. And Adam's introduction is Adam Hartung is a certified financial planner professional, accredited investment fiduciary. He's the president and founder of Midwest Money Management, located at 17316 Kenyon Avenue in Lakeville, Minnesota. Securities offered through Parkland Securities LLC, member FINRA and SIPC. Fee-based investment advisory services offered through Sigma Planning Corporation, a registered investment advisor. Midwest Money Management is independent of Parkland Securities LLC and SPC. Good morning to you there, Adam.
Hey, good morning.
I love that intro.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
It's not my idea.
Hey, dude, I love the intro and I love early mornings like you do,
Yeah, exactly, right?
right?
Yeah, especially the first time at the new Showtime, and it had to be daylight savings time on top of it. Right? Yeah, exactly.
Oh, for Adam Hartung. Adam's a wonderful guy. Again, he likes coming into the Minnesota Real Estate Show to kind of give us a nice picture overall from a financial standpoint. What's going on in our world, Adam? I know you got a lot to talk about. What do you have for us today?
Yeah, it's interesting. Mike was talking during the break about interest rates coming back down and some of the jobs report and the things that happen at the end of the week. And, from a market perspective, and when I say market now, I'm talking about the stock market. From a stock market perspective, all of this has been negative. In fact, after Friday's close, the market is just barely positive for the year. So I actually had a great start. January was one of the best Januaries in the history of the market, actually. So I think at one point, and I should have looked at what the peak was, but I think we were up 6 or 7% for the year at one point already in 2023. And now the S&P 500 is less than 0.5%. Above even, essentially. So one more bad day and we would be negative for the year for the first time in 2023. And the question was posed to Mike: are interest rates going to go up or down? And the potential for interest rates to go down for here. And I do think it is certainly possible that we will see interest rates go down at some point in 2023. I'm not saying that it will happen, but it's certainly possible. Understand, if that happens, it will be a bad sign for the overall economy. So I mean that means unemployment is going up. That means we're probably in recession. It means the stock market is probably not doing well. So while it would be positive for housing, for interest rates to go down, it really is going to be a sign of worse conditions overall for the economy.
Yeah.
So, Adam, in this kind of market, for investors, obviously we were just talking about real estate investing and Airbnbs. Of course, people do all different types of investing. With this kind of market, it just seems very up and down. How do people kind of make anything in this sort of market?
Well, again, if you're a true investor, the first thing that I would say is, if you're an investor, you're not in it for the short term. So, I mean, I would never tell you that there's a way to guarantee over every 6-month period of time or over every 12-month period of time that you're going to make money. I mean, that there isn't. So the first thing to understand is that investing is a long-term deal. However, there are ways, and I do think the way at Midwest Money Management that we manage money is a much more active style of management. We're not passive. We're not buy and hold. When the market's going up and down and kind of moving sideways, we look for those short-term trends to try and capitalize on an upturn. And if the market turns down and goes south, like it has over the last couple of weeks, we are very close at this point to actually exiting. So if the market loses much more from where we're at right now, we will move to cash, at least temporarily, and look for a better time to re-enter the market. That doesn't guarantee that you're going to make money in a downward market, but it at least gives you a chance. And I do think that a more active style of management, which has been out of favor for the last 15 years, quite frankly, because the market has been just going up and up and up until the last couple of years here. But a more active style of management, I think, is going to be in favor for a while now.
Our question of the week, Scott, we just had a nice one. Janelle Seitzer. Janelle said, I wish I would have learned about real estate in general and as a professional when I was younger. In other words, she wished. That's a really good one, Janelle. Thanks for sharing. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I think we can all do that. What if I would have you know, it's like the Matrix. You know, what if you took the red pill? You know,
Yeah, right.
you know, because if you think about things in your life that have spider webbed in a certain way, you can, my mentor when I first got into real estate was Bill Lipka with Edina Realty. Love Bill. He is now retired. But he would tell me at the end of every year, you can take one phone call or one open house or one letter or one ad or whatever it is, and you can eliminate 30% of your business for the year.
Mm,
And if you do that, if agents are listening and you do that at the end of every year, you will say, you know what? If I hadn't gone to that open house, I wouldn't have met that person that bought and sold, who
Yeah.
referred me to their grandmother, who referred me to their aunt. You know, I could eliminate 7 sales in this year
sure.
if I had just not taken that one phone call. And it's consistent. I did it for year after year, and it's true. You can go, oh my gosh, if I hadn't done that, I had a relo group that was a really big relo group. And I took a call on my personal home sale, and he was a relocation I won't name the company, he's a big company. And I ended up working with him, and he was the president. And so he went to Relo and said, all of my people are going to work with Scott. So it was like 25 home sales, expensive home sales, over like a 2-year period. And
Wow.
if I had not taken that call, all gone.
Yeah, it is interesting. It is, and it's a good question too. Pete just commented the question: will rates go up or down? And he said the answer is yes.
Yes, that's what I was just thinking. Yes, they will. They will go up and they will go down.
Yes. Again, we're talking to Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management. Always love having Adam on just to look a little bit bigger at the overall economy. So, Adam, inflation, what's going on here? The rates that the Fed has been ticking up that Fed funds rate. It sounds like they're going to keep doing that. What does that mean for us? Thoughts?
Well, again, as Mike points out all the time, and people do get confused by this. We have clients all the time that we're having this discussion with, realize that short-term interest rates and long-term interest rates, like mortgage interest rates, are not the same thing. And in fact, we are in an inverted yield curve right now.
Mm,
And by the way, an inverted yield curve, the vast majority of the time, is something that happens prior to a recession. So this is one of the strongest recession indicators that there is out there. And what an inverted yield curve means is that longer term rates are actually lower than short-term rates right now. And so the Fed can continue raising short-term rates. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to translate into higher mortgage rates. Now, again, in a normal world, if the economy is strong enough, we're going to see a non-inverted yield curve, which means that long-term rates should be higher than short-term rates. And so, again, when they raise short-term rates like this, it kind of raises that benchmark. And in a healthy economy, it does mean longer or higher long-term interest rates.
Hey, I got to give a shout out. Adam did his client event. So he, with Midwest Money Management, they do an annual event, a real deep dive on kind of everything money related. It's a real thoughtful presentation. Well, this year, Adam, being a lifelong musician, got up and played guitar for 2 tunes, one at the beginning, one at the end. I think your clients were blown away
It was fun.
with your talent there, young man.
Well,
It was pretty cool.
I thank you, Ryan, but it really was going to you and your brother's piano Christmas concert that inspired me to pull my guitar back out.
It was
So,
super cool. Yeah, super impressive. And
See the one rings. We don't play any instrument. We play like the harmonica. We play the
I
harmonica.
can see
We got a
Gordon Larry doing that.
yeah. Yeah, I think my aunt Sally, I think she could play the accordion. That's the extent of
your
our talent.
dear mother, though, I bet was a great musician.
She can actually. My mother and my grandmother that has obviously passed away, both could play by sound. So my mom at an early age
it's
could
called
just
by ear.
by ear or whatever it's called. I don't have it. She could just play by
by
ear.
sound.
So she could just sit down and play the piano. My grandmother was the same way. She could just sit down and play.
Sit down and play the piano. 612-294-6949 is how you could join us. Scott, what's the question of the week
The
again?
question is, if you could change one thing in your past, one decision you made, one whatever it happens to be, if you could change one thing to kind of reroute your life, what would that one thing be?
And we haven't heard your answer yet.
You know, I'm going to table it till a little bit
Oh,
later. I'm kind of
jeez.
well, I'm kind of going back and forth between 2 things I thought about. So I need
Yeah.
to decide which one.
All right, before we get to that, and Mike's as well, Adam, again, a lot going on in the financial world. You and your team really doing a nice job taking care of the clients. What else is cooking with Midwest Money Management?
Well, this isn't particular to Midwest Money Management, but just again, thinking about the timing of when we're on and what listeners might need to hear. Just thought I would remind everybody because we're getting close to that tax filing deadline, which this year is April 18th. And that is a deadline for a few investment related things. And that is IRA contributions, Roth IRA contributions, and healthcare savings account contributions can all be made up until April 18th is the day that they would need to be postmarked to the custodian. If you are going to be like a last minute person sending it in on April 18th, one thing you do need to know is that it does need to be postmarked to the custodian, not to your financial advisor. So for example, for our clients, most IRAs, our primary custodian is TD Ameritrade. If every year we'll have one or two clients that will mail a check to our office. Well, if we get it prior to April 18th, we can mail it to TD Ameritrade and everything is fine. But if they mail it to us on April 18th, by the time we get it, it is too late to mail it to the custodian. So know if you're trying to send in last minute contributions, talk to your advisor if you have one, and make sure you're sending it to the right place, because sending it to their office will not work.
You know, one thing you were saying earlier, Adam, which made me think about it from a real estate perspective, was, you know, you watch and then sometimes you pull everybody out and put them in cash.
Yes.
So you can re-inject yourself during a time that you think it's going to be a better time in the market. And these last 2 years, that's the only time I've ever done it. I've been selling since 1998, and I could never remember. I made a lot of phone calls to sellers that I thought were in maybe a 3 or 5 year time frame before they're either going to be moving south or other decisions, life decisions, and said, you know, you might want to think about selling and renting. And so many this year have been like, oh my gosh, I should have done this last year, because now it's you know, worse. It's a little bit worse, but again, guys, this is the second best sellers market that we've ever had in history. So again, if you're moving to Florida in 3 years, it is not a bad idea to max out on your home sale right now, maybe rent until you move, because with interest rates staying around that 7 mark, 6.5, in the 6s, whatever, at some point, the 15% appreciation over the last 3 years annually is going to have to reset. And so it hasn't yet. So you can still sell at a maximum sale point and then take your money out, put it in cash, so to speak, like Adam said, and then re-inject yourself into the market in more of a balanced market, or even a buyer's market.
Adam?
I was going to say, we've given that advice to clients and I think it's the first time in my career that I can remember too. And I've been doing this, it'll be 23 years in September. And I cannot remember ever telling anybody to change their buying or selling decisions based on the market until recently. And we've been doing this now for a couple of years. So, I mean, 2 years ago, I started telling clients, if you're going to buy another property, like, especially if it was going to be, you're going to buy a second home that you're planning to keep in Florida. And if you thought you were going to do that 3 years from now, I would do it today.
Yeah.
I would lock in interest rates and I would do it now. And of course now, quite frankly, that boat has sailed. I mean,
Yeah.
so we're now on the other side of that. It's too late for that opportunity, but I agree with what you just said.
Yeah, and it's interesting, again, if you haven't or bought or sold a home in a while, or purchased, invested in real estate, the interesting thing about Minnesota, even with the snow flying on a day like today, March 12th, 2023, I had a message this past week from a friend of mine in Florida, kind of asking about the market here. And things are happening. Buyers are writing offers. They're asking Mike Overson for pre-approval letters. Listings are selling. You know, I think it's, I don't know, it's easy just to forget in Minnesota that there is all this activity happening, with people moving for lots of different reasons. Relocation, maybe they're downsizing, maybe there's some sad reasons, maybe it's, you know, death, divorce, probate, estate, maybe it's investment property. There's so many reasons, Mike, that people are moving. And again, we were talking just a couple days ago, rates adjusted a little bit and you had to prepare just a bunch of new pre-approval letters.
Yeah. I mean, you could see the activity. We always see it early, right? The mortgage guys see it before the real estate guys and gals see it, because We see it in application numbers. We see it in, hey, will you run numbers for me on this house? We see it in all that before they actually get out there and make an offer and get an offer accepted and things like that. So this week, I mean, it was crazy. I mean, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, pretty quiet with all that stuff. All of a sudden, Thursday rates get a little bit better. Friday rates take a decent jump better. And so Friday and Saturday, yesterday, it was busy.
Sure.
Like Saturday felt like a regular work day to me, to be honest with you. Yesterday, with how much activity there was, pre-approval letters, any numbers
Right.
on this, any of that. It's crazy just how that one small change opens up all this activity, but it's the truth.
Adam, before we forget,
Yeah.
and before our next break here as well, last thoughts for people about Midwest Money Management, about you and your team, and how you're helping folks.
Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, our value proposition really goes far beyond our investment management process. So I would say that is not the reason, in my opinion, to work with a firm like ours, although we are different there, and I can talk about that. But what really makes us different is our team, and we are customer service oriented. And I don't know how everybody else feels, but I feel like the entire world has completely abandoned the idea that customer service is even necessary, right? I mean, every company I work with, it seems like you can't get anybody to take care of you. What I can promise you is that our team cares about every one of our clients. I mean, we get to know our clients, we know them well, and we're there just to help them with whatever they need. And our mission statement is to provide our clients with the knowledge, tools, and confidence to feel comfortable financially today and secure about tomorrow. And it's that confidence that comes from just knowing that you have somebody you can call who's going to have your back, be able to answer your questions, make sure you're going down the right path. And that is who we are at our core.
Yeah, and it is to Janelle's point earlier about learning about real estate earlier. She wished she had. I think a lot of people wish they had known or met like an Adam Hartung to kind of help. You go through all this schooling and you do all this education, and then it's like life hits you fast when you're out of high school, you're out of college, and you need somebody like an Adam Hartung that will just help you look at things and understand it, guys, because I don't know, life does come at you fast.
It does. I thought about, so the two decisions I had on the question of the day, which is if you could change one thing in your life that would kind of reroute your path, what would be that one thing that you would change? And actually, that is it. So when I got into real estate when I was 27 years old,
Yeah.
and had a very good year, first year. And I made a lot of money at 27 years old, which I had never made before. Had no business making that kind of money. Had no idea what to do with it. So if I could change one thing in my life, it would have been hiring a financial, not even just planner, actually someone to just control my finances. So, literally, here's the money. This is your allowance.
Sure.
Because the 20s and 30s, if I could have those back, not that I don't love working in real estate, but I'd be done working in real estate. Unfortunately, my 20s and 30s were a little rowdy. So if I would have had someone kind of paying attention to that, it might be a little different deal.
Hey, we are at our final break here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We appreciate you joining us, whether on social media, your favorite platform, or here on Love 105 FM every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We're excited to be here. We welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. 612-294-6949. We'll be back after the break. Thanks for joining us on social media.
My 40s were actually pretty rowdy too. just to be real.
I mean, just to be real. Sunday morning. Yeah, it is. Hey, thanks for joining us. You are up early, up and at it. Impressed this hour. Mike, you're an early riser though, so this is nothing for you.
Yeah. I don't get to sleep in regardless. young kids,
Yeah.
you don't.
You look awake, dude. You look awake. You're ready to.
Yeah. Enough caffeine, you can kind of do whatever you need to do.
Mike, what do you think here? Again, people, from your perspective, mortgage-wise, what do you have for us?
Well, I don't think you let rates scare you, to be honest with you. So I think that's number one, right? Rates are going to be rates. You look at the history, 6.5, 6.75 today. Is that really that bad? Scott had one of his best years back in 2001, and rates were at 8.25.
Yeah.
right? So I don't think you let rates scare you.
Sure.
They'll eventually come down. You can always refinance. You can reset your rate lower, all that stuff. Just make sure that the payment that you get today is something that you can manage, you can handle. But that shouldn't keep you out of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. That you shouldn't let rates scare you, and you shouldn't think that what we just lived through was normal, because it wasn't. I mean, that's so. We may never see rates. We may never, and quite frankly, it would probably be a good thing if we never saw rates as low as they were for the last several years. So you got to adjust to the new normal. But I also agree with what you said, is there are people that are going to have to change their price range or what their plans were based on the new reality of what interest rates are today, because you can't, there's only so much you can pay for your housing. I mean,
Scott used to really kind of
is.
get scared by rates.
Oh, I was petrified.
I mean, when he would just,
yeah, my whole life.
Very scared.
Yes, God, startled.
Yeah, if his friends wanted to scare him, they wouldn't dress up in like
They
monster
wouldn't dress
costumes.
up like
They
that.
would dress up as an
Percent
angel.
sign, yeah.
See, now everybody that's listening,
No, don't
everyone that's
deflect me.
everybody's listening, going, "God, Ryan sure is funny." No, what happened there, folks? What happened there was Adam was going on a little bit too long. Ryan's attention span had hit that 30-second.
Yeah, hit the 30-second
It's
mark.
30-second mark, and he had to blow it up.
We had to deflect to Scott. We had to deflect. We are getting some nice comments about Scott's pillow, the green pillow. There is a lot. People really like that green. I especially bought in green because, hey, St. Patrick's Day is coming up
On the 17th.
Yeah. We're having a little team happy hour for the Minnesota real estate team. We got to celebrate a little bit. Adam, you're invited there too, young man.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, we got
out of town.
we got a couple listings we're going to hit after the break here too. But last few minutes of the show. Appreciate you joining us here again every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Question, Mike, do you have anything hot on the brain for something you wish you could redo?
It was tough until I went back and I was like, all right, if myself today could go back and tell me something earlier, I'd go back to 2012. I'd do whatever it took to buy as many properties
Yes,
as I could.
exactly.
So buying a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
Buying a lot of, that's what I would have did. I would have went back. It's like those townhomes in Apple Valley.
Oh, yeah.
We're selling between 45,000 and 55,000 back then. They're all selling for 250 to 260 now. Pick up 10, 15, 20 of those puppies.
I mean,
Game changer.
we'll talk about that when we get back. But that,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's good. So you would have went all in, bought as much as you could.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Just go to town.
Yep.
well, and it was frustrating at that time because there's still clients of mine, but I had some really big investor groups,
Yeah.
and for the most part, I mean, they bought a ton of property.
Yeah.
But I would like these townhomes Mike was talking about. We could have sold them another 12, but instead of 45,000, they were 60,000, and they were like, "Oh, we don't want to." We don't want to spend 60. I'm like, I'm like, buy all of them. I'm like, but it is weird when you're there at the time.
Sure.
There is that little twingling that says, hey, these things might stay at 60,000.
Right.
And of course, looking at it now, that was ridiculous. But at the time, that was the concern. Hey, is this really going to go up again? Or, of course,
Right.
we're not going to buy single family homes for $80,000. That was a one-time deal. And you could have made a killing.
Yeah. There was a question earlier again about prepping your home for sale in this market. I know we're getting ready to go back on Love 105 FM. We can talk a little bit about that, prepping to prepare it for sale in this market. Historically low, almost historically low inventory level, interest rates still in the sixes, Mike.
Yeah.
Still in the sixes. We're going back live on air right now on Love 105 FM. Appreciate you joining us. 612-294-6949 throughout the week too with your questions, comments, thoughts. Here we go. Yeah, that's the jingle, Scott. You love that jingle.
You know what?
You don't love
I
it.
hated the jingle. I hated the jingle all the time until when my kids were young. A bunch of their friends were in the back seat, and the commercial came. One of the commercials came on, and they all knew it. They were all like 8 and 9 years old. So I was like, well, I guess that's what you want to jingle for. But at the break, Mike actually told us if you could change one thing in your life, one decision you made in your life, what would that be? What was that, Mike?
I'd go back to 2011 and 2012, and I would buy as much real estate as I could because that's when it was bottomed out after the crash. And to see the type of equity you would have today is crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. Hey, before we wrap up with Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management, there are a few listings we like to hit each week just to let you know of some great listings across the Twin Cities area. First one, Megan Rudnitsky with the Minnesota real estate team has a great one in Brom. It's 803 Southview Avenue. It's a 2-bed, 2-bath property for $175,500. It's a twin home. It's a large 1-level twin home. It's got no association fees monthly. It's a very quiet neighborhood, move-in ready. It's got an open floor plan. Again, 803 Southview Avenue in Brom. Be sure to check that one out. Miss Heidi Husef with the Minnesota real estate team has got a great one out in Minnetrista. How about this one, guys? 5440 Ridgewood Curve. And it's got 174 feet of shorefront on Jennings Bay. It's a private 0.64 acre lot on a cul-de-sac. Tons of natural light throughout the home. It's fully remodeled, 3-bed, 3-bath for $1.325 million. Again, the address of that is 5440 Ridgewood Cove. That sounds nice, Mike.
It does sound nice.
Yeah,
Right on Jennings Bay too.
right on the bay.
Ridgewood Cove.
And again, Mr. Fung Kao, Remax Advantage Plus, the Minnesota real estate team's got one in Maple Grove, 11282 82nd Place North. It's a 2-story home. It's 4 beds, 3 baths, a 3-car garage, almost 2,500 finished square feet. It was recently a price improvement to $580,000. He's got an open house today, Sunday, from 10 a.m. to noon. Be sure to check that out, 11282 82nd Place North in Maple Grove. 3 really good listings with the Minnesota real estate team. Adam, last thoughts for people and to wrap up?
I talked about that HSA contributions can be made up until April 18th. HSAs are healthcare savings accounts. This has become a much bigger deal as more and more people have high deductible health insurance plans through their work. This has become a trend. And so we just met with a brand new client earlier this week. And this is a perfect example of things that we help people with. It has nothing to do with investments. But they happen to have $4,000 of out-of-pocket expenses in 2022 because one of their kids had to have surgery. And they were eligible to make an HSA contribution, but had not yet done it for 2022. And I told them, look, if you take the amount of your out-of-pocket expenses, that $4,000, if you contribute that to your HSA for 2022 and then request an immediate distribution, so you put the $4,000 in and then you take it right back out,
Sure.
you will make that $4,000 of expenses now tax deductible for having funneled it through the HSA. It's going to save them about $1,200. Again, just one simple thing. So if you have a high deductible insurance plan at work now, and this might be new for you, you really need to understand how HSAs work. And you do have till April 18th to fund it for 2022. And it is a good idea for almost anybody who is eligible.
Yeah, good stuff. Hey, best way for people to reach you?
They can find us online at mnrealestateshow.com or midwestmoneymanagement.com, or they can call the office at 651-204-3000. Again, that's 651-204-3000.
And if you could go back in time, one decision.
Mike brought up the investing in real estate, and I could go back and come up with all kinds of investment things with perfect hindsight that we would do differently. So there are certainly things like that, but honest to goodness, I wouldn't change anything. I mean, to Scott's point about how if you veer off in a path and it takes you in a whole different place, I like my life. I like where I am. I think about, it would scare me to think that I wasn't going to be where I am right now. And so I don't think I would change anything.
Well, that's cool. Very cool. Adam Hartung, Midwest Money Management, Mike Overson, and Scott Wolmering. Scott, before we forget, preparing your home. What should people do in this market?
Well, first thing, call an agent and have them out to take a look at the house and give you their opinion of what you should do. Just as one of the things that I do on every one of my listings is I actually have a person that does home staging go through and give a full consultation on the house. So room by room analysis of, you need to take these pictures down, you need to paint the wall this, et cetera, et cetera. But the normal answer to that is, if you're going to be selling your home, paint, carpet, and light fixtures are the cheapest things that you can do, and you get your biggest bang for your buck by doing that. Cleanliness, a house that's spotless, and more importantly, that when a buyer walks through, doesn't just notice that it's a clean house, but also notices that you actually live that way. When you've gone into a house that is absolutely spotless and organized and everything else, you can tell these guys just live like this.
Mike lives that way.
And people like to buy those houses.
Right.
It makes them feel all fluffy inside. You use a word for Ryan O'Neal, a very fluffy buyer.
I do live that way. I mean,
You do.
I came home the other day and I walked in and I before I even took my jacket off, I grabbed the vacuum and I was vacuuming the
Oh
front
my
carpet and stuff.
gosh.
And then I walk into the house and Jen's there and she's like, "Can you even come in and say hi before you start cleaning stuff?"
But there's two different types of clean. There are people that will clean the surface. Okay, there's a surface in front of us. Let's disinfect it. And then there's orderly. In other words, are you an orderly clean person or are you a disinfect clean? And I'm definitely an orderly person.
That would.
I'm
be
all
me,
about
right?
orderly. Disinfecting, like I'm not going to take something on this table and like spend an hour. Not my thing.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like that. So everything is always put away and organized. And but as far as deep cleaning, like cleaning the showers, cleaning the grout, clean whatever, that's not my thing.
We should invite JoJo on. She's sitting over there. She's just like,
Who are these
what's
crazy
going
guys? Like,
on? JoJo, thank you for coming in. She's so kind to help us here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. JoJo, what do you think of this discussion here early Sunday morning?
The question or the
Yeah, what?
Yeah, how about you,
how about
JoJo?
Your question.
How about you? A question. The answer to that, JoJo.
I probably wouldn't go into radio.
Oh, we love you though, JoJo. If you were not in radio, we wouldn't have met you.
That's true.
That's true. That's very true. Hey, we only got a few minutes left, and I did want to hit on. We have
Or
one-
I would make a change. Sorry to interrupt you, but I was just
Yeah.
thinking. Or I'd make a change, whatever that change would be, where I would be with Selma Hayek.
yeah.
So if there was a decision I could make through my entire life that I could make that would put me in Selma Hayek's
that
radar,
that she would be in your first year class,
Yes.
sitting next to you in college,
that's it.
and has just a very hard question about your calculus. And you know what? You look so knowledgeable, Scott. Hey, can you help me here?
Yes,
Scott?
no, that's what I'm just here to help.
Hey, Bill Ebert. He's in Hudson, Wisconsin. We actually sell real estate in Wisconsin as well. We are licensed in Minnesota, Wisconsin. He's got a great one in Osceola Township, Mike, 2427 113th Avenue. It is 584-9. It's a coming soon property, so you can see it everywhere online. You can't get in for showings until St. Patrick's Day, the 17th of March. When you look at this property, it's a 5-bed, 3-bath, two-car garage. It's got awesome views of the St. Croix Valley. Bill says it's a perfect combo of luxury, comfort, serenity. It's 6 acres, great school district there. And it's close to all the outdoor recreation areas. It's ideal for nature enthusiasts. Check out the pictures on this one online. Again, Osceola Township, 584-9 for this property. It is 5-bed, 3-bath, 2-car garage. Mike, you also can do loans in Wisconsin.
Yep. Licensed in 46 states. Wisconsin, definitely one of them. So we can certainly help out on that one.
Wow, 46 states.
Yeah.
What
I
are the
wanna know
four?
what the 4 you're
Yeah.
It's like New York, New Mexico, Hawaii. I'm trying to think of the other one. Maybe Rhode Island or something.
And-
It'll be Connecticut, something like that out there.
And Mike, is it because you don't have business in those areas, or because those are states that are difficult? Because
Those states are different,
Yeah.
more difficult. It's different
Yeah.
for those states. So
Hmm.
they're
Yeah.
coming. They'll be coming soon. Eventually here, but right now we're not in those states.
we have a similar thing. So most states are fairly easy to be licensed in, but there's a few for us that are prohibitive to actually get licensed.
Which
Yeah.
one's your tough ones, Adam?
Tennessee is actually
Hmm.
a tough state.
Okay, that's what Scott was thinking.
Tennessee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stand Tennessee.
Hey, we did have a question coming in. We like football. Where is Aaron Rodgers going? Aaron Rodgers,
I think he's gonna go with the Jets.
Jets.
Yeah, I think he's gonna end up at the Jets. For the life of me, I can't understand why the Jets would would pick up. What do they have to pick up? 150 million or 100 million or
Something.
something like that. I'm not sure why they do, but I definitely think that Green Bay fans are like, move on. Every single year they've got to deal with the same garbage and going away to a little dark place and singing kumbaya and whether I'm going to stay in Green Bay, whether I'm not. Those fans are like, move on.
Yeah, it is about him. It seems
Yeah,
like.
everything's about him.
Mike, he's gonna
So
follow
what
the same
you're trying to get to the end of the show where we don't get your answer.
Hold
So
on
what?
here.
So
We
what
will.
question? What question?
I will come to it. I
He's,
just want
he's going to follow Favre's path. He's going to go to the Jets, and then he's going to go to Minnesota and end there.
No way. You think so?
Wouldn't that be funny if
Yeah,
he did?
you never know.
When
Never say never.
Yeah, when Rodgers first became the quarterback in Green Bay, I told some of my friends in Wisconsin, I said, well, yeah, in 20 years he'll play for the Vikings.
Yeah, exactly.
20 years. The question, what could you go back and change? It's interesting. You throw these, Scott, like right at the beginning of the show, of course, so we've got no time to think about it as we're going through the show. I've got to default to Mr. Hartung too. I've got nothing hot on the brain that's coming to me like that. Oh, I wish this would have happened or changed. I think it's life has its kind of interesting twists and turns. I think we're able to learn from things that happen. So even if something was not good, you learn from it, you become better, you turn it another way. So I don't know. There's nothing. I know that's kind of pushing the.
Well, that is the age-old question. It's like, if you could make a decision that would remove something that was extremely tough in your life,
Sure.
would you do that? Because that extreme situation that you went in with what was really tough in your life molds you to who you are today. So would you remove that? Would it be the right decision to remove it?
Good point.
And if it did get removed, what other things would happen? That's the part. See, I watch a lot of Lucifer, and you don't want to get into a hell loop or a loop where you're doing the same. You're doing the same thing and you can't get off that
Sure.
treadmill.
Yeah, it's a good point. Some deep thought here at the Minnesota Real Estate Show. I know you were probably not expecting it here. On Daylight Savings, good morning. Thanks for so many folks on social media commenting. And again, every week at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Now, if you are looking to buy a home, sell a home, invest in real estate, you've got financial questions, mortgage questions, we certainly would love to work with you. However, we can help you. We've got a top agent on the Minnesota real estate team. Wherever you're listening to the show here on Love 105 FM, there is activity happening. There is a lot happening in our market. The spring market, even though with the snow, is here, guys. Mike, you're seeing it with the pre-approvals.
Yeah. And there's a ton of buyers out there, backed up, waiting for the right house to come on, but waiting for whatever it is, right? We got plenty of buyers out there. So if you're looking to sell your house, I guarantee you're going to have a bunch of people coming to take a look at it. You're going to have a lot of offers to choose from.
Great show, guys.
Very nice.
It's been fun. Scott, last thought?
No, not really last thoughts. Just again, if you are in one of two situations, if you are selling and you're not buying something, right now is the best time. Last year was the best time. This is the second best time ever. So if you're making life decisions, now would be the time to cash out on it. And if you are a buyer, work with a really good agent in this market. It can be extremely frustrating to write offer after offer after offer and not get a house. We would love to work with you, obviously, but if you don't work with us, make sure it's someone you trust that gets it, that knows how to leverage you as a buyer so you can actually end up with a property, because it's very frustrating.
Yeah, Mike, last thoughts for you?
Plug in with us. We'd love to help you out. Don't let interest rates scare you. We get a lot of talk and a lot of pushback and stuff from people on interest rates. Don't let it scare you. This is the norm. This is normal. If you look back in history, we're normal for interest rates.
Yeah.
So just remember that.
Hey, it's been a fun show at the Minnesota Real Estate Show Sunday mornings, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Appreciate you joining us on Love 105 FM. Love 105 FM. We'll be back next week. Hope everybody has a great rest of the weekend. Thanks for joining us. Social media, Love 105. Adam, good work on your debut there,
Thank
young
you.
man.
Yeah.
And you're up early.
Only for you, Ryan.
Oh, nice job, guys.
Nice job. Thanks,
Yeah,
everybody.
Thanks,
Ryan.
everybody, for joining us. We'll see you next week. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.